What's up, guys? Welcome to Knockers on the Bottom. I'm your host, J Mill. J Mill, if you like. So let's get into it. So want to touch on a couple of things before we autopsy the game against the Washington Commanders here, the final game of the season. A couple of things. One, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're at 50 subscribers. I'm going to be giving away something Cowboys-centric this week, a gift card to the Cowboys Pro Shop. I'm going to be giving that away on Friday. I'm going to give it away at some point within the first 5 minutes of the episode. So when you tune in, you'll get a chance to get the giveaway. I just want to give everybody a fair chance. So I'm kind of telling you every day, every time I do an episode, hey, this is when we're doing the giveaway. This is how we're going to do it. So just listen in. First 5 minutes of the episode, I'll pause at a random time, do the giveaway, just to give everybody a fair chance to get the giveaway. Whoever wins it, make sure you please comment below when that happens so that, I know that you won it and I know that you used it and that everybody knows, hey, this is a real giveaway. This isn't something fake, that he's just going to say, yeah, I gave it away to some random person. So please, whoever wins it, comment below. Good luck to everybody. Secondly, it does look like the Dallas Cowboys declined the Bears. They wanted to interview head coach Mike McCarthy, who's in the final year of his deal. His contract expires on the 14th. The Cowboys have the right to refuse all the way up to the 14th. You would think if they were going to let him go, that they would have just let him, do his interview with the Bears. Being that they refused that interview, to me, that kind of puts the writing on the wall there. Tells me that they're probably, negotiating right now and just trying to come to terms on everything that entails, whether it's, staff that you want, changes that you need to make, length of the deal, compensation. I imagine all that stuff is being hammered out. And in the meantime, they don't want him going to talk to anyone else. And then, we'll see what happens over the next couple of days here. But to me, that means the writing is on the wall. And we're probably going to get Mike McCarthy back. They're probably also trying to figure out whether or not Mike Zimmer wants to come back. I know he's had some reflective moments here towards the end of the season. So we're not 100% sure if he even wants to continue, being a defensive coordinator, not just for the Cowboys, but for anybody. He might want to go back to his horses and his children. And, he's engaged right now, newly engaged. So he's planning a wedding. So he's got a lot of stuff floating around right now. Might not necessarily look to the future of head coaching. I believe he's close to 70 years old, if not 70 years old. So there's just a lot of those different things factoring in. And, that could have a lot to do with why the Cowboys haven't made a formal announcement as to what they're doing with the head coach as well. Probably because they're trying to iron out the whole staff. Now, they have some guys on the staff who could take that mantle. I mean, I'm pretty sure Al Harris would get a consideration for defensive coordinator. I'm also pretty sure now that Matt Eberflus have been let go by the Chicago Bears that he might also get some defensive coordinator consideration, especially considering that he coached for the Dallas Cowboys years ago under Rod Marinelli. I know some fans might not want to hear the whole Rod Marinelli thing, but, it is neither here nor there. I'm just telling you, some of the candidates that they might look at if Zimmer decides to hang him up. But we'll get more into that as the week goes along. Cowboys season is over now, so now we can kind of get into the second part of the sport, which is the team building. So we can talk about coaches, we can talk about offensive game plans, offensive staff. We'll go through over different reviews of the season and see how the Cowboys did. We'll definitely get into the draft. We'll take a look at a ton of different draft prospects. We'll talk draft prospects, all the time. We're looking forward to the scouting combine as the playoffs go along. We'll take a quick look at some of the playoff games, see who's going to win that week, all that good stuff. So still a lot of content to come, so still keep tuning in, guys. But let's get a look at this game against the Washington Commanders. So the first play we're going to take a look at here is early in the game. Your boy Micah coming out the gates, screaming, playing well. So we see the Commanders here. Got Jaden Daniels set up in shotgun. They got Robinson next to him. You got the 5 down linemen. You got Ertz lined up tight, and then you got your receivers split out of the screen. And the Cowboys match it with the nickel defense. They're expecting pass here. Everything looks like pass. So on the snap of the ball, we're doing a silent count here. So the guard gives the tell. Boom. So stop it here. This looks pretty locked up pretty well. This looks locked up pretty well. And then they're also double teaming here on Osa Digizua. So as you see, Jaden Daniels is scanning the screen now. It looks like he could actually unleash this ball right here, have a nice little short completion, take your little 4 or 5 yards and get him into second down, but he's holding the ball. He's looking around. So he has another completion. I know we can't see quite out of the screen here, but there's so much wide open space here that you can kind of throw this guy into that space. And again, take your 7 yards, 8 yards, and go to the next down. But he's still looking, and in the meantime, now the monster is loose. Micah Parsons comes around that edge, beats his man as Jaden Daniels tries to scramble out. Osa does a great job of forcing him back inside. As you see, Micah initially misses, and Jaden Daniels goes to scramble, and as you see, Osa's getting held. And also coming over the top is Chauncey Golston. So Jaden's probably thinking, I can't beat that guy to that edge. I need to cut back inside. But who's there? Micah Parsons, Mozzie Smith. I mean, it's a sack party, right? Any one of these guys could have ended up with that sack. Micah gets it there, gets the play down, and now the Commanders are behind the chains, right? That was first down. That was the first play of the game, and it really set the tone early on for the Cowboys defense. So let's take a look at another play here. So this is the same drive, right? Because like I said, Mike Parsons came out screaming. So now they're down to 3rd down and 3 in this drive. Actually, hold on. We got the wrong play here. All right. They're trying to mess with me, guys. Sorry for the technical difficulty here. But I had this all set up, and they're just trying to play me here. All right. So we're getting to the next play. It's 3rd down and 3, right? So the Commanders here didn't have much success early on this drive, and it put them in a 3rd down situation, which actually wasn't that bad. I mean, after getting sacked on 1st down, right, and Micah Parsons kind of taking that away from you, you make it to 3rd down and 3. So you're not in the worst situation necessarily to get yourself, back on track. But the Commanders come out. They got their 5-down linemen. This time they have a running back to the other side. They got their tight end in, and then they got another receiver split inside. Micah Parsons this time lines up right over the middle, right? This is one of those things that if we're going to bring Mike McCarthy back, this is why I would also like to pair that with Mike Zimmer. This is the first year of a lot of these players in Mike Zimmer's system. And you could really see as the season went on that the defense started to gel a bit, right? And now I'm thinking about next year, having back Sam Williams, getting another year of Maris Leofau, getting another year of Marshawn Nealon, and then hopefully maybe adding a player in the draft. We know the Cowboys don't really like to add too much in free agency. So we probably won't see much of that, or if we do see it, it'll probably be a very low level, week 2, week 3, after the first wave and second wave of free agency has passed. Now we're going to go bargain hunting and see what we can add. And that's if they even do that. They might just decide to go young altogether and kind of cultivate the players that they have and maybe add some undrafted free agents and draft picks to this team overall, but specifically we're talking here about the defense, and see if that can help move the needle a little bit, especially if we see the Cowboys give Mike McCarthy a 5-year extension. They're probably going to slow play this a little bit and kind of try to rebuild and reshape their roster over this year, next year, and maybe even the year after, and then really try to hope that their cap is cleaned up and their roster is reshaped up to kind of go after things in 2027. If they win along the way, awesome. If they don't, Jerry Jones is just going to try to sell us. But look, you take a look here, 5-down linemen. They match it with Micah Parsons in the middle. I love Zimmer doing this because Micah Parsons gets, pretty much pressure on Jaden Daniels pretty quickly. So they bring the guy in motion. Jaden Daniels, this is only to tell for him if the Cowboys are playing zone or if they're playing man. If he sees the man follow, if Jaden Daniels sees the man follow his guy all the way across the formation, he knows that it's a man. Anything other than that tells him it's a zone. Now, this guy might try to bluff, right? He might come a little bit away when this guy starts, but then stop. And then that guy will keep going, and a defense will shift over, and one of these guys will kick out here or wherever he lines up. If he does that, then they're like, okay, this is a zone. But because this guy's following him all across, he knows, okay, I got man-to-man coverage. You know, if I can get some good blocking, we can win. Boom. Right off the rip. I mean, that's not even a full second. That's not even a full second. Boom. Micah Parsons has already won. And he's not the only one that wins. Osa Odigizua has also won. You have Maris Leofau coming off the block, and then you have Mozzie pushing the pocket as well. So, I mean, the Cowboys do have a pretty good amount of options here. I don't know if this was supposed to be some sort of screen for this, but if you see this side, I mean, this side is over. That guy's coming off the edge. It was just a great job of everybody winning and meeting at the quarterback. I wish we could have saw more of this when Marcus Mariota was in the game, because we didn't see any of that at all. But it was great. It really set the tone. Like I said, Micah got a couple of sacks right off the rip. Made it, you know, a very difficult opening drive for the Commanders. So now let's take a look at the Commanders' first touchdown. Everything didn't go right for the Cowboys, this whole time. Or actually, this is the Commanders' second touchdown. So everything didn't go right for the Cowboys all the time. But this is one of those examples of things not going right for the Cowboys. So the Commanders come out. All right, so now they got their two up top. They got one on the bottom. They got a tight end lined in. You got the running back, looks like Austin Eckler, right next to Mariota. So the Cowboys are late getting lined up, as we see. They're still kind of getting to the line of scrimmage. And you have Micah Parsons here. You got other three guys down. You got two, and then they're matching it with a single high safety. Looks like Leofau's coming. He's showing, hey, I'm coming. And he does, right? Boom. They don't get any pressure. They don't get any pressure. That's the first thing I notice here. Leofau comes. Commanders block it up. This guy is the only guy that's free. Looks like this guy can make a block on him and this here. But they're running a pick route, which you're not supposed to be able to run picks in the NFL. But they did, right? This guy actually, Zacchaeus, does a great job of getting out of the way. So if he would have collided with the defender here, that probably is a flag. But because he does a great job of getting out of the way, it slows down the defender just enough for Mariota to get the ball out. Ertz gets it in his hands. Pretty easy walk-in touchdown. And that's kind of one of those things where we saw that and it was like, oh, man, great play design by the Commanders. But just a couple of bad things for the Cowboys. Not necessarily getting through the trash good enough. Zacchaeus doing a great job. I mean, it's kind of hard to beat that guy around. I feel like the only way you could defeat a play like this is by disguising it a little bit better in the beginning and possibly passing that off. But in order to pass that off, you would have to know that that's what they're going to try to do. So the only way you could defeat this is going, all right, this guy's coming inside. It's still within 5 yards. Hit that man. You take this guy and take that angle and cut that off. That's the only way. Also, this guy, he's kind of in no man's land. He doesn't know whether or not he should, this little zone read option freezes him for a second. So he doesn't know if he should attack straight up right away or if the running back has it. And because of that little hesitation in this situation, it's just a good play design. I don't know if there's much you could have done there. Like I said, maybe if you were playing a defense where you pass that stuff off, but you pretty much would have to be psychic. You'd have to know that's going to happen. So I think it was a pretty good job by the Commanders there. This play right here was a huge play in the game. It was a backbreaker. The Cowboys had the Commanders dead to rights, right? They're up 3 points, fourth quarter, 4th and 1. There's only 33 seconds left. All they have to do is shut this play down, and the Cowboys walk away with the victory. So you see the Commanders, they come out, they're like, we only need 1 yard. So they got quarterback and running back here in the backfield. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you got a tight end line tight. The Cowboys match with 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6. So not really a heavy box. You got Jordan Lewis walking out to the receiver out there, right? So on the snap of the play, let's take a look and see what happens here. Boom. So you got a hard run block inside. You got two double teams here. Double team here, double team here, right? You got Michael Parsons. Boom. He takes that running back. So Leofau right now, his only job is to go get the quarterback. If he goes and gets the quarterback, this play is dead to rights. Leofau takes too wide of an angle, right? He attacks up the field. That's great. But right here, when you see Micah taking that assignment, it doesn't matter if that quarterback holds the ball or pulls the ball. You see Micah has that guy. He's stuffing him, right? So that means your job only is to go get that guy, right? If you get there and he doesn't have the ball, then you just pull up at the end, whatever like that. You know, play his stuff. Cowboys are going to win the game. Instead, he takes a very wide angle and doesn't throttle down correctly. This is sort of one of those things where it's like kind of a rookie being a rookie here. And that's it. You see Malik Hooker down here. He thinks the play is stopped. He thinks the play is done. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, snap, I got to go make a tackle. Marcus Mariota, open. I thought he was going to score here. He was like just running wide free, but he's not that fast. Malik Hooker catches him. You know, the Cowboys are kind of shell-shocked. And now the Commanders are cooking with some juice. That was a huge play in the game because there is no reason, if you're Mike Zimmer, you call that defense and you guys are watching film today, you're like, we stopped it. That play was dead to rights, right? We had that play set up. So let's take a look at another play here before we ultimately get to the play that pretty much decided the game. This was one because I wanted to give just a quick look at what Trey Lance did. I could have went to several plays, but we don't have, you know, an hour for the episode here. So Trey Lance he's right there. He's got us down to the red zone, right? He made several great plays on this drive. So he has 1-2 receivers to the right side. He has another receiver there. He's got Cavante Turpin in motion. He's got Rico Dowdle. The Commanders match with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys tight at the line of scrimmage because they're trying to match these guys in the red zone. 2 guys here. Now these other 2 guys tight to the line of scrimmage. One's rushing, but the other one's here for Jake Ferguson. One guy's here for Brandon Cooks. You know, so you got to overload just in case they try to run that way with Rico Dowdle. But most of those guys are there for coverage. They're not there for a blitz. Boom. So on a snap of the ball, they do exactly what we think they do, right? You got one guy here, you got a guy here. But basically, you got 4 rushing, right? Actually, boom, 5th guy comes a little late. So you got 5 guys rushing and 6 guys dropping into coverage. And you got Rico Dowdle here. He's kind of leaking out. Now, right now, there's nothing. Trey Lance's eyes are already down, but they should be. They should be. A lot of times, Trey Lance's eyes come down and he's looking to scramble, and it's wrong. At this point, he's not wrong. This guy's been defeated. This guy's coming. There's nothing here. All this is trash in the middle. So there's really nowhere for him to go with the football at this moment. And even if there was somewhere for him to go with the football, the pressure was so immediate that he would have gotten sacked or made a bad throw for an interception before any of these routes could have came open. Now, this play is over, right? He's dead. He's dead. Nope. Gets out of it. Boom. Gets out of it again. Now, this is the stuff that you love from Trey Lance, right? Now there's a second play. You have a guy here that's free now. You have a guy here that's free now. You have a guy here that's free now. And then these guys can kind of crisscross, right? This guy can come this way. This guy can go that way. That guy goes shallow that way. That guy basically follows him shallow that way. That guy goes that way. And this guy keeps coming all the way across to give him a cross the field throw. That's what you would want on your secondary play. Now, Trey Lance, right here. Rico Dowdle, right here. All you have to do is just put it right on that guy. Just put it right on him. Throw it right at him. Instead, he tries to be too with the football. And I don't know how else to describe it, but because that's what he did. He just lofted it out there. It looked like he didn't want to make a mistake. Therefore, he made a mistake, right? He's thinking too much. He's not playing quarterback. He's aiming the ball. And that's exactly what he did. Rico tries to make an adjustment to the football. Doesn't work. Boom, ball short. I mean, that's one of the easiest throws. He did all the hard stuff already, right? This was the hard stuff, right? He did all the hard stuff. He checked at the line of scrimmage, got his guy in motion. These are the hard things. Reading the defense, checking at the line of scrimmage, getting the guy in motion, right? The snap of the ball comes. Play breaks down completely, right? He's got the ball in his hands. Pressure is pretty much immediate off the edge. You know, guy gives a whiff block, Terrence Steele. He gets out of it. All this was the hard stuff. What was left at the end was the easy stuff. So it sucks because sometimes, you know, you got a guy like Trey Lance and you're ready for him to take that next step, and he can do 90% of the play. He can make it awesome, spectacular, do everything correct, except for the most important job for the quarterback, which is throw the football. And we saw a lot of that yesterday. I mean, I could have went through and broke down the pass to Brandon Cooks when he was wide open, dragging across the field, and Trey Lance throws it about 2 or 3 yards out of bounds. Coincidentally, I could have showed a nice play where he hit Mingle right on the money. So it's just, there was so many inconsistencies, ups and downs, which is kind of what we saw from him in the preseason. The only thing I would say that was a little bit better in this game than the preseason is he didn't turn the ball over as much. But on a play like this, you can tell, I don't want to turn the ball over. I don't want to get it in there too fast or put it in there too hot on him or throw it too low and have the guy bat it up. All these things are going through his head, and it's like, dude, just play football, bro. Just play football. Just throw the football. You're good to go. But instead, that happens, and honestly, if you think about it, if the Cowboys score there, I mean, we're not even sitting here at this play. But alas, we are sitting here at this play. So this is pretty much the play that decided the end of the game. So Mariota's here. Now, they tried to run this play earlier in the game, just so you guys know. They tried to run this play for a 2-point conversion, and DaRon Bland got his hand on the ball and batted it down, so the play wasn't successful. They came back to it here towards the end, so that tells me for them, they thought this was their best 2-point play. So you got 3-by-1. You got Terry McLaurin, who's been beasting it. You got the 5-down lineman running back here. So he's pretty much just going to throw a simple route. This isn't that hard of a throw. So the Cowboys show blitz, but then they drop some guys out. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 guys coming. You got the safety dropping. You got the linebacker taking the guy over the middle. These guys are pretty much covered. You got a safety here in the middle of the field. DaRon Bland actually gets his hands on him, but Mariota says, I'm going there no matter what, right? He's got his hands on him. McLaurin's back is still turned to the quarterback. Now that his head is around, ball's in the air, DaRon Bland's head is not around. And that's a recipe for disaster. Fade, McLaurin with the short hands, and it's a touchdown. Cowboys go down. I know there's a lot of people who saw that there and were cheering. They were happy because they're like, the Cowboys lost. This way we don't have to worry about them losing their draft pick status. Well, congratulations. We're the 12th pick in the draft. I mean, I would have rather won the game, but screw it.